Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And we are back. Sister Wives is back after that brief vacation that we took. It is season 19 still. And now this is episode 21, The Land of Milk and Honey, ? And we pretty much pick up right where we left off. I'm like, oh, okay, whoa, still in Louisiana. All right,
yeah,
let's go.
And driving the U-Haul.
Yeah.
Well, first, there was big news in the Sister Wives world this week. Yes. Coyote Pass finally sold. So it's a little bit anticlimactic, some of this stuff, because Janelle and Christine are still, Janelle and Meri are still talking about, getting a lawyer and, getting their money out of this property. So now we know that it has sold, and it sold for $1.5 million. They paid $820,000 for it in 2018. So that's a net gain of $680,000. And so if you divide that by 4, that's $170,000 each, less commission. So it's more like $160,000 each.
Okay.
So, nothing to sneeze at, but it just kind of feels like that's not enough to set them up for the rest. Like Janelle, it kind of seemed like Janelle is counting on this to set her up for the rest of her life. And she says in this episode, she's already put everything she had. And this is filmed obviously before she got this money. So whatever she had before, she put everything into buying this 165,000 acres. Well, no, 165 acres, which we'll talk about this later, but I feel is ridiculous. But, and I wonder if part of the deal was that Meri and Janelle got credit out of this, out of Kody and Robyn's share for the money that they gave them to purchase Robyn's house. I mean, we'll never know unless one of them tells us, but there could have been an equalizing payment made for that. Credit for that.
Wow. Well, end of an era.
Yes, the Kody Pass era is over. It sure is. Finally.
Now we're on to the Tata Farms era.
Yes, which hopefully is more successful, but I don't really know.
Well, we have gotten, because I can't remember if this was on Instagram or where, but one person did write us and say that flower farms apparently are very popular in North Carolina. They do well. And I saw a video of Janelle showing us, marking where her home is going to be. I feel like that's progress too. Like maybe we're being, maybe we're being too negative about this. Maybe this is good and that they will get this together and they're moving along and it's going to be nowhere like Coyote Pass.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that they are going to build houses. They are going to have their farm. But here's the point. You could do all of that on a couple of acres. You know what I mean? Like you could have 5 acres, 10 acres. An acre is a lot. 165 acres is a lot. That would be like a major farming operation. That's not, I don't understand why they had to buy so much land.
Well, what I'm wondering, because this is what Janelle was telling us, she said, because neither Caleb nor Janelle have even been on the land until we see them go on the land during this episode. So Maddie's the only one. And it sounded like it's like very rare. They don't come up that much. They had to jump on it. But I wonder if maybe this is kind of how they sell land, that no one's selling 10 acres. No one's selling 20 acres. It's either, a couple hundred acres or nada.
Maybe.
So that's also possible. This might have been what their only choice, if that's what they wanted to do in the area that they wanted to do it in.
Yeah. Well, any North Carolina realtors, please.
Yes. Please, let us know.
Let us know. Go on Instagram and let us know, what is the deal with this? Why did they have to buy so much? You're right. It could be like just a single family home plot size, or this, and there's nothing in between. I don't know.
And maybe, I think they're smart to take it a few acres at a time, 10 acres at a time, because I do think it can get overwhelming, but it is rural. I mean, that road did not look paved.
It's not even a road. It's not paved. Yeah. There's no infrastructure. No, nothing. Well, we'll talk more about it when we get there. Let's go back to Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah. Well, we pick up right where we left off. Yeah.
Yes. David and Christine are in the U-Haul, and Janelle and Truly are in the truck on their way to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just talking about stuff. I can't even remember I didn't even write down what they were talking about.
They're talking about polygamy. Christine's really hot to boo up Janelle.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can understand Janelle being annoyed by this. And it's a little bit like, Christine, you're perpetuating this idea that a woman needs a man to be happy. Mm-hmm. And Janelle doesn't need that. And she's been happy without Kody for a long time now. Mm-hmm. And she's even happier to be far away from him. So she doesn't, she might not want that. That's what you wanted, Christine, but that's not what she wants. So I don't know, just talking about her and meeting someone. And then we've got like Kody, and he's talking about how he and Robyn are moving on. And this is like the final goodbye. It's almost kind of like Meri moving. He was saying that this was the final goodbye of the family and moving on. I'm like, boy, you're real just giving up, aren't you?
Yeah, he said
just kind of throwing your hands up.
They're removing themselves from the toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he is kind of throwing his hands up.
Yeah.
Honestly. And we see later on, like, he is just so darn happy with just Robyn and their kids. He's a completely different person with them.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen him like that ever.
Yeah.
In that, those final scenes.
Yes. We have to, I can't wait till we get there, because he was, that man is so insecure. I can't even tell you how insecure he is. Okay. But
so they arrive at Maddie's house, and Maddie has a very cute little house.
One quick thing that Janelle and Christine talked about, though, is Janelle, that apparently once they got to Vegas, Janelle just decided to start traveling by herself. I don't think we ever really saw it. I don't remember seeing that on the show. I could be wrong. But that Janelle was off taking trips without Kody. And Christine pointed out, she's like, I would wait for Kody. And that was the difference.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
And they also talked about, they got into this whole thing about keeping score.
Mm-hmm.
And because David was talking about when his sister lived polygamy, she got in a fight with another sister wife over who had the better stereo or something. Yes. And just to hear the word stereo, I'm like, oof, that's a throwback. But yeah, like Christine says, she started noticing that Robyn had nicer furniture, nicer dishes, nicer decorations. And Christine felt like she was left with scraps, literally and figuratively, like scraps of Kody's time.
Yeah.
And then they also, I forget, now I'm remembering all the stuff they're like talking about, all the juice they're talking about. Talking about how Kody liked his wives to look nice all the time.
The makeup. Yes. Which is very interesting. Very interesting. Because isn't this a culture? I mean, I thought this was a culture of you dress modestly, right? I mean, I don't think I saw any of those women wearing heavy duty makeup, and
not at all.
That's very interesting. It's kind of goes against. Oops, sorry. I just banged my microphone. Right? I mean, it's a contradiction, isn't it?
A little bit. I mean, I know he did he supported the modesty thing, but he wanted everything else to be dolled up. And they do a flashback to that camping trip where, Christine and Janelle are cooking and taking care of the kids, and Robyn is, doing her makeup. And that, her kids always, she took, her kids' hair always looked nice. Like everything had to be nice with her. Everything had to look good.
Yeah.
But Meri said even, when they first got married, if they were going somewhere, he would buy outfits for her.
Yeah.
And
it was kind of like showing her off.
yeah, there's a lot of pictures of them in matching outfits, I noticed, from when they first met.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine like a guy buys you an outfit and says, "Here, I want you to wear this"?
And it's matching too? Like,
yes.
Oh God, no, that's a red flag right there.
Big red flag.
But unfortunately, I think she was already married to him. She was already married. So I don't know if she could have stopped it. But yeah, Meri talks about how Kody always wanted them to look good. Christine was saying that Kody was always comparing Robyn, always put the things that we know, that he was put Robyn on a pedestal, and that it felt like it was lacking. And yeah, I mean, I also think that there is something about, there are some women that are just very feminine and very good at the decorating and the makeup and the hair and the there's some women that are just always kind of put together and it seems effortless. I relate to Christine because I've always got crap on my shirt and dog hair and I wear makeup and all that. But I've always been envious of those people that seem so, it could be effortless. So, perfect, I guess. Mm-hmm. So, and listen, did Robyn was the only one that ever really worked. I mean, she had the time and energy for it. Yeah, she did. So, she didn't have, she had nannies. And yes. Everybody else was working hard doing things. So, yeah. So, but yeah, this is where Robyn gets into this whole thing about how the family broke up. And it was because of all of these harsh words that were said, and that those harsh words, now there's little trust with each other. But oh yeah, she says there was unfair fighting, name calling. Well, say more, Robyn. Yeah, like who said what to whom? Yeah, what are you talking about? We just see one flashback clip of Janelle getting up and like, I got to pick up Savannah. Something maybe pissed her off or she had to go. Mm-hmm. But okay, so what harsh words were said? Honestly, the harshest words I think I ever saw were when Kody flipped out, knife in the kidneys. Yeah. Like that was the first time I think, I don't know, am I missing something? Or he, like that he was that cruel? Well, maybe she was talking about like when Christine started questioning, what does the nanny do? And that the whole thing during COVID. I mean, I think she's talking about what was said, not to her face necessarily, but the show, watching the show. Interesting. And yeah, because, all three of them got increasingly over the last 2 years, harder and harder, going in on the Robyn and Kody more. So I think that's what she's referring to. But then, she calls it a big part of the family falling apart. It's so sad. And it's like, well, you had a part in this too. Mm-hmm. You and Kody had a part in this too. Don't put it all off on them. Well, we hear about this on Housewives, right? Where on the Housewives shows, it is very hard for these friendships because you get in this fight or you have this disagreement, you work it out in the show, and then everything's resolved. And then 4 or 5 months later, you have to watch the whole thing happen again. And then you have to comment on it. And then you're seeing their side and their comments. And then it sort of brings up all the feelings again. It's not, this reality way it's not a way to interact. It's very hard to build and maintain relationships when, you're constantly hearing, oh, that's what you really thought. You told me this, but you really said this, when maybe it was something they just vented to someone else, but it's on camera. It's just it's a mess because the reality show stuff is a mess. Well, yeah. And now because these people don't even interact with each other, everything they see is just from the show. Mm-hmm. And then the clips that they get shown, these reunions and stuff. Yep. So it makes it really harsh. Yeah. It's really harsh. Yeah. But we learned from Janelle that she just wants that land soul. She doesn't want to talk to Kody. She doesn't want to interact with Kody. But as long as she has the property, she's tied to him and she wants out. Boy, Janelle, man. She's mad. Well, and it is interesting because it sounds like she really checked out of that marriage a long time ago, like really checked out of it. And for whatever reason. And it's almost like this is such a it's a formality to her. She's so, and I think this is what we're seeing the difference between her and Christine. Even though Christine's remarried, Christine still feels very hurt for a lot of things. Because I think Christine wasn't checked out until the very end.
Well, yeah. And also too, she's being filmed, like this is over a year after she left, after that conversation in,
Josephine's,
where she's like, no, I'm pretty much done. Oh, yeah. So yeah, Janelle, thank God, Janelle, you can move on now.
Yeah.
It's all over.
All right. Well,
so then we go to Meri's house.
Yeah, we're in Parowan.
Quickly. And I thought this was the shadiest scene.
This was really funny.
So Jen is there, of course, because that's Meri's new partner. And so Jen asked her about some unfulfilled orders from my sister wives closet. And Meri's like, well, yeah, I forwarded that to Robyn, and I don't know why she hasn't taken care of it. And it's happened more than once. And then Robyn explains that her business is on hold, but the shopping cart online is not disabled.
Yes.
So she says, so people sneak orders in.
And that was perplexing. I mean, I love that. Sneak orders in? No, they're not sneaking orders. The cart is open. And you processed, and I'm sorry, but you obviously you processed the money. So this whole system is still open.
Also, if you know the cart is still open, close it. But get your tech person to. I know you don't know how to do it, Robyn, but hire a tech person to fix it.
Yeah,
I mean, what? That is one of the lamest things I've ever heard.
Yes, I mean, and she's kind of like acting like, oh no, it's out of my control. It's like, no, this is completely within your control.
This is your business.
This is your business, and this is a very simple, fixable problem. These people, all they want is either the jewelry or their money back. But it's almost like she's angry that people ordered stuff. It's like, shut it down. Don't accept their money.
I know. That's so funny.
And the other thing too is, this person, because you know how it is when you order things, like you wait and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, what happened to that? And then you write an email and it sounds like this was like 3 or 4 emails later. So this means she saw this transaction, because you get email notices.
You get notifications,
that someone bought something from you and whatever it is. So she had that notice for probably at least a month. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And
she did nothing about it. Clearly.
Quite the businesswoman.
Quite the businesswoman.
Yes.
Yeah. So then they bash her a little bit more. Talk about how, her kids could never come over to play outside.
Oh, yes.
Even though Meri, I don't know why, she has no small children, but she has this big, swing set play structure thing. And, in the entire time she lived there, I think they came over once. And then we have Robyn giving her excuse for that.
Yes.
Because Meri was always traveling and they just couldn't coordinate their schedules. It's like, you just live down the road. I mean.
Now, I am not defending Robyn in this. I will say that COVID, she did mention that, I'm with the little kids. She did have, I don't know what it was like during COVID to have school age kids that young. Max was in middle school and he was much more independent. Like, I don't know what it's like to have a 8-year-old that I have to deal with online school. So I'm going to give her a little grace for the fact that maybe it was a little stressful. Kody wasn't doing anything. So,
but I think she's also talking about even before COVID, because during COVID, they didn't, they were strictly not seeing anybody at all.
Yeah.
Remember that barbecue they had where they kept yelling at Truly and Saul, like, 6 feet apart, and Truly ends up breaking down crying, because she's like, I just want to play. So the scenes they showed of them, the one time they actually went to Meri's to play on swing set. I think that was before COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then Robyn also says that when Meri moved, she changed. She changed after that, but I always cared.
Which move is she talking about? When she moved permanently to Flagstaff? Or I don't know. I didn't understand that move. When she moved, which move are we talking? You guys move a lot.
Yeah. Well, Meri just moved permanently to Parowan. I think she's talking about Flagstaff. When they moved to Flagstaff, Meri changed. And I think this is just another reason she's throwing out there for why she didn't take her kids over there to play on the swing set. But I always cared, she said.
Okay. All right. Too little, too late. Not enough.
Yeah. Robyn clearly does not give a shit. She does not feel bad about her relationship with Meri breaking down. She could care less, and then at one point in the show, they flash back to the scene where, the day that Kody's helping Meri move, and Robyn just shows up with that junk journal.
Yeah.
Crying, I mean, what? And now she's just kind of like, well, she changed.
Yeah.
What was that scene at her house that day? If you guys were you guys were already like not close anymore.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I wonder if what she meant. Yeah. I need to know which move she's referring to, and then I could better understand what's happening.
That is true.
Because I'm wondering if Robyn is alluding to, and this comes up a little bit later, of that apparently Meri was going back to Flagstaff, and Robyn texted her and said, "Hey, if you come into town, do you want to hang out?" And Meri was like, "I just don't know about hanging out with my ex-husband's, wife." And, Robyn was a bit offended by that. And I think what she's really speaking to is Meri's actually pushing back. For the first time, Meri's never, I mean, I don't think Robyn, I think Robyn thinks she's probably been a good friend to Meri. I don't think Robyn has any sense of how she lands with people or any of that. And I really do think that she thinks she does a lot. But and that's that same thing of like, oh yeah, if you're in town and then all of a sudden she gets some pushback from Meri, and it's a little bit like, well, wait a minute, you've never pushed back. And instead of going, wow, this is my friend, and now she's pushing back on me, what's going on? What's changed? It's she does a little bit of that narcissistic, like, well, that's on you. That's your problem.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But it's time to get baptized.
Yeah.
And there were some lines in here that Kody said that made me want to go, bleh, bleh. It was awful. Like really embarrassing. And a little much.
A little creepy.
Yes.
He the way he looks at Aurora and talks to Aurora makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like he's in love with her.
Yes.
Like in love with her. I know he loves her, but it's weird.
It is weird. It's very, very weird. And that whole thing about, well, first off, he says the most unbelievable. He's like, this church, it's everything. It's all this stuff. I mean, women baptizing women.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. And his hell froze. I mean, and we haven't erupted. The world hasn't ended. That women are baptizing women. What a thought, But he was talking about how, I guess in their church, it's very quiet and, this very quiet ceremony, and they dunk you and your whole body has to be underneath. And if your toe comes up or hair comes up, like start over again. And that this was very different because this was like dunking her in the water. And I bet there's some Christian rock band playing and woohoo and people getting excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Kody says, so instead of just saying whatever the prayer or the baptism is to Aurora, he whispers it in her ear. That is so intimate and creepy. It's very intimate. Don't you think?
I thought the whole thing was, and I don't know. And I thought, wasn't it Brianna that first brought up this whole thing about church shopping? And now,
yes, that's right. That was her.
So why is she? I don't know what is her. We haven't heard about her journey or what's happening with her because Kody says, Aurora has been church shopping. She's going to be baptized. Well, what about Brianna? What's happening? Why didn't we get a Brianna update?
I don't know.
I guess Brianna didn't find a church.
Brianna's keeping her options open. Okay. She's keeping her options open. And then this leads us to this whole thing about jealousy. And Robyn gets into this thing about, we should have worked on our jealousy issues. And her explanation for this was they didn't include God enough. What does that mean? You did not include God enough. I'm not a religious person. We didn't do this a lot, but I don't quite understand. Does that mean, how would including God change you all, whether or not you would work on these jealousy issues?
I think she's maybe talking about, the general tenet of polygamy is that you're doing this, you have to suffer here on earth and learn to control your jealousy and share your husband and do this whole thing in order to have to be together for eternity in the celestial kingdom. I think,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, that you're not supposed to be jealous. And that's what, in the beginning of this show, this whole series, they did talk, like Christine and Meri and even Janelle, like they did talk about that. Christine more, like, because she was the one who was the most jealous, and she would say stuff like, "But I can't be jealous because that's like the religion tells you can't be jealous, you can't be jealous," and she's just trying so hard to push that jealousy down. And Robyn is kind of saying, well, if you would have just worked a little harder and been more faithful to the religion.
Yes. Oh, got it. So if we had all been putting God first, we would not be in the place that we're in right now. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and going back to this baptism thing, because this seemed kind of disturbing. Like, okay, they said in the LDS church, you get baptized when you're 8 years old, because at that age, you know what you want to do. You know if you want to join the church or not. And I'm like, at 8 years old?
Oh, I thought it meant like you knew right from wrong.
Well, being baptized, isn't that saying I want to be like part of this religion? Like, because the baptisms of different religions are different.
Yeah.
But it's like you're committing yourself to the religion and to God. So at 8 years old, how are you supposed to know that you want to join the LDS church or be baptized in the LDS church or any church?
I don't know. That's a good question. I interpreted it as when you're eight, and it feels a little arbitrary. Like, I don't know if they consulted any child psychologists to get a real sense of it. But my thought was, this is a time in which by the time when you're 8, this is when you know what right and wrong is, what it means to dedicate your life to God, it means to,
But do you
be
really
one of
think
God's children?
Do you really think an 8-year-old?
No, of course not. And if you hear Kody half the time, I don't think no one really knows.
Yeah, I just thought that was like that's what they think. That they think that at 8 years old you can process all this, and that's
what the church thinks. I don't know if this family thinks it or not, but that's what the church. Yeah. That's what the LDS church thinks.
Yeah. Well, Aurora is just beaming, she's just joyous. And they show this picture, her and Kody together, and they're both just smiling like I've never seen before. I mean, and Kody and Robyn are very happy about this. And everybody's happy.
Oh, yes. Very, very exciting. Kody's getting back in touch with his, God and
his feelings.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But then, this goes back to, Robyn talking about how, she's talking about how this jealousy thing. And then she says, I saw that we were screwing up here. Like, there's a lot of blame of, I saw that we were screwing up. But, and this is the part about, again, Robyn, this is why people don't like you and have problems with you, because there's no ever any accountability of you said we're screwing up here, but you never stopped and said, I saw it happening and I should have intervened sooner. I should have done this. I should have done that.
Yeah. If you saw it, then
then you ignored it.
Why didn't you do something about it?
But to me, that means you're expecting other people to do something about it.
Yeah. No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But we got to go back to Parowan.
Well, no. First, don't they go to dinner at Josephine's?
Oh, I have that we go back to Parowan.
Well, okay. I have this.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe I wrote down the coming up. Sometimes I get confused and I write down, when they say coming up.
Yeah, it's annoying.
I get excited. I hate that. It's like I don't need to know what's coming up. I can wait for 10 seconds.
Yes. Like, do you think that we're midway through the show and they're like, oh, we got to give them a preview of what more is going to happen, or they're just going to leave? You know?
No, I think that I don't know. There's a couple scenes at Josephine's.
Yeah, I have that written down a little bit later, but go ahead.
No, we'll talk about Josephine's all together.
All right.
So going back to
Parowan. Jen points out to Meri, you have a better relationship with Janelle than you do Robyn.
Yeah, it's true. Who would have thought?
You know what it is? I think Jen has been having all of these feelings for a long, long time. And Jen's finally like, I can finally let them all out.
Oh, yeah.
And
she's savage. She even she snuck in a dig at the junk journal.
Yes, she did. She because she makes this comment of like, I don't know if Robyn would have shown up to help to the move that day if Kody or Nathan weren't there. And basically she's saying that Robyn's performative.
Yeah.
That it's all an act. And then that's when they start talking about how Robyn wanted to hang out with Meri, and Meri was like, I don't think I can hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jen gets into this whole thing about like how excited she was about her outdoor play space and how the kids were going to come over, but they never came over. And because of all of the COVID stuff and the excuse and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then Jen asks her, do you even want a relationship with Robyn? And then Meri says, I thought we were close, but were we? She's now kind of feeling gaslighted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which she should. She was.
And again, I think Robyn sees relationships as performances, as a means to get something, a means to make her feel good, a means to control, a means to manipulate. Like, she won't ever say that. And so I think what Meri's really questioning is, oh, wait a minute. Was this all just talk?
Yeah. Did she ever think of me as a friend or care about me or anything?
Yeah.
No, I mean, she's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to Robyn saying, recently I heard Meri was bashing me and making fun of me to her friends in public.
Which is on the show.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been watching the show. I see that Meri has been bashing me.
Okay. So now, this is your good friend. You've been in each other's lives. You're quote unquote family. You shared this husband. You hear that Meri is saying things about you on camera, on television. So what do? A good friend or someone who really cared about Meri would call up Meri and say, hey, I just watched the show. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that, or I'm so sorry, or I made a mistake or anything. But no, it's just this very passive, like, okay, then,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, she doesn't care. She's just digging in.
Yeah. So this is when, and then we go back to Greenville, because that's where and Greenville's North Carolina, not South Carolina. Okay. And now they're at Maddie and Caleb's house, and Christine is telling them about how they took Janelle to a bar and they had a drink, and there was this guy there, and goes into this whole thing about, what is Janelle looking for? And then this was one of the best sequences where Christine just loved trolling Kody, where she said, well, Janelle only wants a man with rock hard abs and nice pecs.
Yeah. And then we have to go back to Kody for him to talk about, this was so strange.
It is very strange.
I couldn't understand if he was being serious, if he was being facetious, if he was trying to be funny. I don't know. But he says, I do have buns of steel, but my abs are just washboard. Janelle saw me as a piece of meat, not as a husband, an item more of an item than a person to be engaged personally with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Calm down, Kody.
Yeah. Well, and this is this whole thing of Kody and Robyn don't think about how they impact other people or their behavior. All they think about is how things impact them.
Mm-hmm.
And I can imagine if I was Kody, right, that you could see how Janelle is taking all these trips and she's very independent and she's not buying into this stuff and she's not being jealous and she's not doing this and that. And then that's where Kody's mind goes of, she just wanted me for my super hot body. Of course.
No, it's just that she wasn't going to wait around for you.
Yeah.
While you were over at Robyn's, she wasn't going to wait around for some little scrap of, oh, it's your birthday, it's your anniversary, I'm obligated to take you out.
Yeah.
That's all he did with them. Or if they had to go somewhere to film for something. But on a daily basis, clearly, if Janelle could just go on trips by herself and there was no issue with it, clearly he didn't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He didn't protest. He was probably like, oh, good. Now I done one less person.
More time with Robyn or whatever it is.
God. Psych Legal Pop will be right back after these messages.
And then David's friend was there. He brought Bison.
Oh, yeah. His lap dance friend.
Yes, one that guy.
Gave him a lap dance. That was very awkward and weird.
But that was funny too. He must be a really good friend because they were like, oh, this is his friend. He lives 3 or 4 hours away. I'm like, well, that seems kind of far.
That's a long way to go.
That's kind of far. If you were an hour, maybe, but maybe I'm a crappy friend, but 4 hours, that's a haul. And back. Yeah, he's a good friend, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe he just likes being on camera.
I think so.
But yeah, and then they talk about how they're going to go see the land because Janelle's never seen it.
Yeah, and Caleb's never even seen it.
Yeah.
Which I think is weird too.
That's very weird. Again, it must have been a hot property commodity kind of thing, right?
I guess they had to jump on it. But Caleb lives there. He couldn't have gone
he was busy working.
I guess.
I don't know. Now we go back to Flagstaff.
Now we're at Josephine.
We're at Josephine's with the family. Yes.
So everyone's dressed up,
Yes.
It's Easter Sunday or something. And this is to celebrate the baptism. And we've never seen the outside patio at Josephine's.
No.
We've only seen the attic.
Josephine's is more than just an attic, everybody.
Yes, it is. Who knew?
There's an outdoor patio.
In one shot, I could see kind of off to the side, they had one of those, it looked like it was like an Airstream trailer kind of converted into something that looked like a food truck, with the window there where you go up and I think maybe that they were serving cocktails, it looked like out of there. Maybe that's the bar. I don't know. It looked kind of hip,
Yeah.
Because the inside of the attic is not hip.
No. And all I think the whole time is, God, it must be so hot in there.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Because the heat rises.
Yeah.
And I don't see any I don't see air blowing or moving. So I'm like, oh, it just must be so hot and stuffy up there. And you got Kody sucking up the air, sucking up the energy of everything.
So the outside looks much nicer.
All right. Now we get into a very uncomfortable, weird subsection of this show. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, okay. So Kody's saying to Aurora, how do you feel, now that you've been baptized? And she says, well, I know this sounds weird, but I do feel lighter. And he's like, oh, really? And he's like, well, I guess, this is going to be, you look back and this is going to be like one of the best days of your life or something like that.
Who says that to someone? Oh,
I
that's
don't know.
The best of everything's gone, Aurora.
Right.
It's all just crap hill.
This is it. This is the highest high you're ever going to get. And it's all downhill from here. And you're only 22. I mean,
and then Aurora says, well, I think my wedding would be something. And then he's like, oh, yeah. Okay, your wedding. But
then he does this weird thing where he's like, oh, yeah, in your wedding, you're just going to be so, and he's like swaying, going, oh, yeah, you're just going to be so, you're going to be floating and happy and da-da-da-da-da. And then Brianna says, well, yeah, we were raised by you two. And Kody and Robyn are like, what? What does that mean? And she said, we'd be fools not to marry our soulmates. So yeah, she'll be floating. So I guess this is a commentary on how just lovey-dovey and in love they are all the time. And then Kody says, yeah, our kids, Robyn and I, we'll be like interacting. And then the kids will just stop and just stare at us. And then we go, what are you looking at? And they're just like, oh, I mean, what?
No, I'm sorry.
No kids look at their parents and think, oh my God, they're so in love. That's so cute. The thought of your parents like doing anything with each other is like, you don't even want to think about it.
I mean, obviously people see, right? Whatever relationships in front of you, you see how those two people treat each other. You see that dynamic. But kids, that's much more subtle. And kids don't, they don't quite understand the impact of that until later, until they get into their own serious relationships. So, they don't really analyze it. So it does make you wonder a couple different things, which is that Kody, number one, is Delulu here.
Well, that's a given. Yeah.
What he's witnessing and seeing. But we get into this whole thing about the term soulmate and what does it mean to be a soulmate and soulmate. So to me, I feel like then that means, Robyn, you didn't just say soulmate accidentally once on camera and then it pushed across. That means that you have been running, and both of you have been running this belief and dialogue narrative, thank you, between the two of you, that you're soulmates and you're so interconnected. And you've been running this with your kids forever. To the point now that she's an adult, and this is her truth now, because it's been said to her a million times.
Well, yeah. Why would she choose that word? Yeah, if she hadn't heard that a million times. But of course, they can't admit that because that would expose them in that they really weren't into this plural marriage stuff. And, they were doing it in theory, but not really, because, you're supposed to love your wives equally. And, they backtrack and Robyn says she realized it was a mistake for her to say that. But then Kody, he's not really going with the program. He's like, well, I loved that you said that. That really flattered me. And to this day, I just love it. And so it's like, Kody, you're not going with the program here.
But this shows you, I mean, one of my favorite lines of the episode, I'm a fool for my woman. I'm a fool for my woman. And and I think this is Kody's interpretation of what the kids are seeing when they're like, I'm a fool, oh, Kody is just a fool for his woman.
A fool for love.
Yeah. So the fact that she makes this soulmate. So you've now been married to 3 other women. You've gotten a lot of attention from these 3 women. The 4th one comes in and says, oh, I think Kody's my soulmate. So that comment flattered you so much that, and I've always said this, Robyn got his number real quick. She knew exactly what he needed in order to fall in love with her. And I do believe that they have a connection. I'm not saying I don't think that there's a there, but she was really able to kind of grab him quickly, because this guy, give him a compliment or two.
Yeah.
And he's just putty in your hand. And to me, that feels like that's really sad. It's very insecure, very Like, just, you don't, it's nice to get compliments, but because she said that, now she's the most special. She's more important, or, oh, she loves you the most. I mean, I think that's it. Because she said those words about you, she loved you the most, versus all of these other women who are busting their butts, raising your children, getting work, getting stuff done. That's another form of love.
Yeah.
But they didn't they didn't say those things.
Robyn knew what to do. I think she might have had some coaching from her mother. Someone, told her, you need to make your man feel a certain way. And if you want to be the favorite wife, these are the things that you really need to do. And let's face it, his marriages with Janelle and Christine were very transactional. I think that he was in love with Meri, but that relationship was not good anymore. So,
I mean, I don't know. And it's so sad because his relationship with Christine was very transactional, but that's not what Christine wanted. I think Janelle was transactional and was okay with that, but that's not what poor Christine wanted. Because she says that. She's like, they start talking about soulmates and polygamy and how you're not supposed to have soulmates in polygamy and everyone's against him, blah, 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 blah. And, how Robyn says that she grew up in a plural family and she knew that soulmates weren't okay. And Christine talks about how, that Kody and Robyn would work really hard to hide their special relationship, but they didn't do a very good job.
Do it. Yeah. They tried to. Yeah. And then at one point in the middle of all this talking about soulmates and whatever, they zoom into Kody's ring. Did you notice that?
Yeah. What was that all about?
I don't know. I guess to show that, because that's a ring that he got with Robyn, I believe. That maybe that's a David Yurman ring or whatever, their favorite jeweler. But I thought that was very intentional. I thought I zoomed in on that, but yeah. And then Janelle was just kind of like, yeah, well, whatever. She's like, I don't care. That was her parting words on that topic. Just like, I don't care.
Well, and then I thought this was a very honest thing that Kody said, which was he was worried about how Robyn saw him and, worried about, like, if I'm not in these plural marriages. And he said, do these divorces devalue me? And so that's the other thing that's so interesting about him is you clearly say, I have this soulmate. You believe it. The two of you know it. You're in it. These other women go, you know what? Then goodbye. I don't want this. That is so devastating to you. Like, just the fact of being rejected by someone you don't want.
Yeah, I know. That's really narcissistic.
He says they stole my confidence. I was a vulnerable and I'm a fool. And I think that there's something with Kody about what he thinks love is. I really think he thinks love is this being a fool. Like, love is, I just feel all these feelings and I'm just a fool and neediness and like all of these things. And, but if you really loved everybody and you were a healthy person, you would be sad that these wives left you, but you would understand and you'd recognize it. And you would have been kind enough to say something years ago. But the fact that he takes this attitude of how all of this affects me, how this affects me. It's always about me. How these divorces affect me and my life. How does Robyn see me?
Right. No, not like what could I have done differently?
Yes. No reflection.
How could I have handled this better?
I should have.
How do these women feel? Like, I want them to be okay. No, he is not thinking about anybody.
Yeah.
But himself. And
we see that clip of him breaking down when he was moving with Meri. And it was that same thing. And I think Jen clocked it fast. And I think Meri felt it too, which is, fuck you. Like, now you're dumping all of your emotions on me. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit like, now you're going to take all these feelings, all these emotions, all this hurt, and you're going to take it and you're just going to plop it right here for me to kind of hold for you.
Right.
And then
after
I get
driving
nothing.
her away.
Yeah. And there's no accountability, no sorry, no nothing.
No.
Oh, I'm so sad. Cry.
No, trauma dumping. Literally.
Trauma dumping. Thank you.
Yeah.
Big trauma dumping fool.
He's a fool.
He is a fool.
She can take him for all he has.
Ugh, go ahead.
What does that mean? What does that even mean, God?
You don't have anything, Kody.
You don't have anything to take.
And
except a bunch of debt and mortgages.
And great. And you know what the other thing is, this whole thing about Kody and looks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is, and I've said this many times, which is he wants his wives to be beautiful because he sucks the life from them. Mm-hmm. He does. I mean, Christine, Janelle, Meri, they look great. And Robyn looks awful. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. She really has not aged well at all. She really, because I think he sucks the life from her.
Yeah.
That's my belief.
I can see it. But on the other hand, she, when she allows herself to, like, she's giddy happy with him too. You can see it at this dinner.
Yeah. And,
the thing overall, the whole thing about the dinner is I've never seen Kody so happy. Like, he's just so, compared to the Kody we see on the couch and the Kody who interacts with everybody else, he is just so light and smiling and happy and, just in love with everybody. And the things he says, how much he loves, like this is now his family. Like, this is it. Like, I don't even know if does he even talk to any of his other kids? I'm not even sure, but I don't think anyone's talking to him.
Do you feel that the happiness is real or performative?
I mean, I think it's both, because I do think he clearly truly loves them. That's not an act. He's very happy because they all obey him. They all look up to him and they have this reverence for him.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes.
And so he loves that. He sucks that up. And he also is performing, kind of saying, look, these people love me and they don't have a problem following, towing the line. What's wrong with all the rest of you?
Yeah.
So it's like, he's using them as an example of, see, I'm not bad. Look at how much these kids love me. And look how much, look how much fun we're having.
Here at Josephine's. I mean, come on, don't you want this? What were they eating? Like chicken? I couldn't figure out. I kept looking at the table.
They showed those plates of food and I couldn't identify at all what was even on the plate. I'm like, is that a piece of chicken?
Yeah. What kind of food is Josephine's? Is it kind of like...
I have no idea.
What is it? Okay. Well, anywho.
Idea.
Yeah, I think so much of it is so performative. I think it's... I don't think Kody Brown knows what happiness is. And I don't think he knows
an idea, but
I don't think he knows what real happiness is or true or love or any of those things. And I don't think Robyn does either. And I think, unfortunately, those kids are gonna, this is what they're witnessing. And I was hoping Brianna could be a little bit smarter, but it seems like she's drank the Kool-Aid as well. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe Saul or Ariana will escape.
Ariella.
Yeah, Ariella, sorry.
Well, and those two, they were quiet as a mouse. Yeah. I don't think I've ever even heard Saul's voice. I mean, I sort of barely heard Ariella. Yeah. And it's funny, she's what, like 3 years younger than him, and she's like much bigger than him. Like taller.
Yeah.
Poor Saul, he just looks like he doesn't look.
I'm telling you, Cody's
malnourished or something.
Cody is sucking the life from him. He's sucked the life from Robyn, and he's like, I got to go on to somebody. Saul, let's go.
I guess Ariela's next.
Yeah, Ariel, hold on tight.
Yeah,
bulk out.
Don't give in. Just ignore him.
All right. Okay, so let's go back to Greenville. Now, Maddie. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
This is really going to piss off Kody. But so they're driving to the property in this, in these multiple trucks, and they're talking about they're comparing this property right to Coyote Pass, and talking about how this is going to be different. This is going to be a different situation than Coyote Pass.
They're actually going to do something.
We're actually going to do something. And Maddie says, I don't think Kody Brown is capable of doing anything. He just talks a lot. It's like,
Wow.
That I know because she called him Kodybrown. She didn't call him Dad. And she just ripped into him. This is, shots fired. Because I don't know if Kody's going to get over that.
No. This isn't the first time she's on the show said something about him, but this was really, it's a real dig, to say the least. But it's true.
Yeah.
How many years ago did they buy that? 2018. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, so the Janelle's talking about how everything is riding on this. She's put all her money into this. And there's no water, not even a well, no sewer, no electricity, no infrastructure whatsoever. And it has to be cleared. Like, it's just, I guess it was a former timber farm. But it hasn't been cut in a long time. And there's just all this wild growth and trees, and there's no roads. It seems like there's not paved roads. There's these kind of like dirt roads. How are they going to have the money to develop? They've already spent all this money purchasing the property, and then they have to put in all this stuff and build. And
well, as we learned from Maddie's podcast, I think Caleb's very good with money and has taught Maddie how to be good with money. So I feel like those two have money and savings. But I would love to know, how much does it cost to get like a sewer line?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much does it cost to get electricity?
Tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to have to put in, tens of thousands of dollars. They're going to have to put in a cistern like they were going to put in at Coyote Pass. Remember that big cistern? It was like a water storage tank. It's like this huge, that's how you get your water. If you don't have a well and you're not hooked up to city water, you have to have some big water storage thing that you keep refilling. And that runs water into your home or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they have to have septic tanks. And I don't know, how do you get electricity? I guess you could do solar. But that's a lot of money to install all of these systems.
And also, this might be a stupid question. Is there Wi-Fi out there? There's no electricity.
Not a stupid question, because you need Wi-Fi to live at this point.
Right. So, is that connected? Oh, this shows you I'm not the most technologically sane person, but you don't necessarily need electricity, right? Because our phones, we can use them anywhere, and sometimes Wi-Fi spots are better than others. But can you dial out? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how close they are to a cell phone tower. I don't know how far out this is from. I don't know.
So if you're really far from all the cell phone towers, do they then have to put a cell phone tower near the farm in order to even get Wi-Fi hooked up?
Well, I don't even think you can do that as an individual.
Oh, okay. See, this is what I'm very confused about. And I'm with Christine, where none of this sounds interesting or fun to me at all. I think if I had tons of money, I think designing a home and doing all that might be interesting. I think I'd get bored of it after 5 minutes of picking things, because you have to pick everything. But this, there's no joy. I find zero joy of trying to figure out how to get a sewer line on my property.
Yeah, and really all the permitting and all of the I guess it's I heard Janelle on some TikTok or something talking about how, there's environmental regulations. They already ran up against some type of environmental regulation where they couldn't do something. There's wildlife on that land.
Yes. They found bones. One of their kids found bones.
There's bears there. Apparently.
Yes, bears and snakes.
This is, and Janelle, she's talking about all this and she's just beaming. She's just so happy. And it's like, oh God, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Scared.
But listen, if she's going to do this with anyone, I do have a lot of faith in Caleb and Maddie. I think that they're two people that get shit done. I really do. I think that he's good with, I think they're good with money. I think they can get stuff done. I think they follow through. So I have hope for it. I do.
Okay.
I do.
I just don't think they're ever going to develop 165 acres.
Oh, no, but I don't even think they want to.
Well,
I think they want to develop
10 acres at a time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you'll be lucky if you're able to develop 10 acres.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to go beyond that, what would be the point, And then you have to maintain all this, because if it gets too overgrown, I mean, you'd think there'd be, I don't know. Seems like a fire hazard. I don't know. It's a lot.
Well, let's just go back to Flagstaff. Let's go back to Josephine's. Because we hear from Robyn that Kody is coming out of this little section of time that he was in. Thank God. I mean, I'm glad that we don't have to see any more of Kodybrown driving around talking about how he hates women. But that he's coming out of this funk.
Well, so she says.
So she says.
His asshole era.
Yes. But she then, I don't know if she said this or Kody said this, but one of them says, well, Grandpa used to say, and I'm assuming they're talking about Grandpa Paul. I think Robyn says this. She said, Grandpa used to say that you should always know someone for all 4 seasons. Something I say all the time. I'm like, so, okay. But you all have been telling us from the get-go that you and Robyn had this very, very long courtship that was 9 months. You all were telling us that you all get fast. You all get married quickly. That's part of the church, part of the process of everything. So which one is it?
I know. But they don't want tell their kids that. They want their kids to take it slow.
Yeah. So why don't you just say what I've learned from my relationships is all 4 seasons, which I totally agree with.
Yeah. And Robyn also says another very true statement that who you marry is the most important choice you make.
It is.
Because it affects everything in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But then Robyn says that she would only live plural marriage again if she had a guarantee.
I'm like, you gotta be kidding me here, lady.
It's going to work. I mean, excuse me, there are no guarantees in life, Robyn.
You're not even. Listen, Robyn, Kody is not even guaranteed to you.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed. I love this. Well, I'm willing to get into a relationship again, but I won't get into it unless I don't feel any pain. Well, then guess what? Then don't get into a relationship. That's the price of admission. That's the price of admission of a relationship. Is it may end and there may be pain. That just pissed me off when she was talking about Grandpa Paul and all 4. I'm like, it goes against everything you've all been saying this whole time.
These people are always talking out of both sides of their mouth. It's nothing new. What do you expect?
And then Kody is like giddily talking about, Aurora and Brianna and, they're being very smart about things. They're working on their relationship with God first before marriage. And in a non-religious way, I think that's smart because it sounds like what's happening is they're working on themselves. Mm-hmm. They're working on who they are and what they want. And it's like, okay, good. That's better. I think that's a better choice. But I don't know. I get really bothered. I don't want anyone coming after me because this is not an anti-God thing. But it always really bothers me when it's like working on your relationship with God. It's like that kind of negates you and the work that you're doing and the fact that you're kind of figuring stuff out about yourself and life. And why does God get all the credit?
I don't think.
Or is that not what it means to have your relationship with God? I don't understand then what that means.
Well, I think they go hand in hand. I think that if you are a person who believes in God and, whether you follow a particular religion or not, I think what it means is people draw strength from that. They draw strength from, I think because God is supposed to be love, God loves you, you're a good person, you're a child of God, all those sayings and that you hear in different religions, meaning that, you are special just because you were born, just because you're here.
Yeah.
And if you believe that, it will help you in all other aspects of your life.
Which I absolutely agree with. But I guess, then I guess if some people want to attribute that to God, that's fine. I don't necessarily do that. I think I think you have to believe that you are worthy of that. That
but
you
yourself
can draw
strength from that.
You can draw strength from God. Sure.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Well,
anywho,
I wish them the best. I wish Aurora and Brianna the best. I really do.
I really do. Brianna, it's funny. She's got, she's an adult, so I guess I can talk about her. She's got this, she has this weird kind of way. It's very odd that it almost seems to have developed recently. Or talking like this. It's just, I don't know. I worry so much about Aurora and Brianna. Like I worry, is something going on with Brianna? Is she, not that I think there's something wrong, like medically wrong, more of just, do you not feel comfortable? What's going on?
Yeah.
It just seems odd. That's all.
I think she just maybe, she's maybe feels weird being on camera. She's not on camera that much.
That's true.
They do like shield them from that. So it could just be nerves, because this was a big scene for her. Like,
very big scene.
We don't really see them that much.
No.
On camera.
God, Aurora just, there's just so little going on here. And the way she looks at Kody, I am very uncomfortable.
They're sitting across from each other, just, like they're on a first date, the way they're looking at each other. Like, oh my God. Yeah, and remember the whole ear piercing?
Yes. Oh, God. Was that the beginning of this season or last season? I can't even remember. I think that was last season.
Last season.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting.
Anyway, so I think and then the final scene is Greenville, and they're back there again, but that's fine. We're done.
Well, and know what I loved? Janelle again is just beaming, talking about how this is the last place she's going to live. This is going to be her spot. And then she says, I know it's going to be hella hard work. And I'm like, Janelle, where did you learn the word hella?
Well, I think she meant to say hell of a lot.
She said hella.
You think she said hella?
Yes.
And my question is, because hella, hecka, those are real Northern California Bay Area.
Hella was invented in the Bay Area.
Okay, so it is attributed here. He's hella hot. He's
Oakland,
hella stupid.
Specifically,
okay. So, I don't know. Maybe one of her kids traveled here and, told her all about hella and hecka.
I guess. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Shout out to the Bay Area.
Shout out to the Bay. So we see the scenes from next week's episode. It's Christine and David's first Valentine's Day together.
Yes. Oh, Christine's so happy. I mean, I understand her daughters are just awful, mortified, and I too would be mortified, but it just really makes me happy that she feels so loved. It really does. And that she gets to buy a red dress and be sexy, and he's going to love it and all that.
Oh, and David, David's really happy too. You can tell, and he's all in with whatever she wants to do. He's all in with his show, with the Airbnbs. Like, she really found like her soulmate.
Yeah, she did.
She did.
She found it. Yeah.
Yeah, she found
absolutely. I mean, and I don't know what she did to call him into her life or whatever it is, but she really lucked out. She really did.
It was meant to be, I guess.
And I mean, like moving someone across the country. Okay, getting on the moving van, and here I go.
Well, yeah, and Janelle said, "Thank gosh for David, for driving." She said, "I couldn't have done that myself." And David didn't hesitate.
Yes,
he was probably his idea. He probably said, "Well, I can drive, or let's help Janelle, whatever." And he's just a good guy.
Yeah, wasn't Caleb hugging him? I feel like there was a point at which Caleb and David were hugging. I mean,
everybody loves David.
Yeah.
Everybody loves David. He's their new dad.
I'm your daddy now.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because truly, here's this other thing too about Kody talking about the kids is that, truly still a minor.
Yeah.
I mean, is he just throwing his hands up with her too?
I don't know. And David truly is her father now. Like, she lives with him. Okay, so Meri and Janelle meet up together at Coyote Pass, I guess, to strategize. And Meri says that she's afraid of Kody's wrath. And Janelle says, there's nothing he can do. I'm just like, yes, thank you. I mean, why is Meri scared of Kody's wrath? What can he do to her now?
I don't know. I think it's just 30 some odd years of being afraid of someone or any of that. But it's like, yeah, what is he going to do? Make a new list? It's like, yeah, make a new list. I'll show you where I'm going to put it. You know, I mean,
I know.
She's right. She's very, very right. Again, I think that this is the thing is that it seems like what was happening was that Meri and Christine were really, even though they weren't happy in the marriage, digging into it. And Janelle was slowly like letting go. So, but by the time we got here, she's done. She's processed all this.
Yeah.
I think this is still really hard for Meri to accept.
Yeah. And then Robyn, they show a scene of her wondering, you know, if one wife is enough for Kody.
No, it isn't.
No, but I think they're going to go through this performative thing.
Yeah.
Because there's another scene where I forget which one of them says it, but talking about, you know, I think Robyn asks Kody, you know, do you think you'd ever want to, you know, live in polygamy again? He doesn't, you know, doesn't answer. But, and then she says that she's worried that is one wife enough for him. But it's like he's basically just had one wife for a very long time since he met Robyn.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't get attention from any of the other ones, you know, if it's an attention thing.
I think that it's not about wives. It's about people worshiping him.
Yeah.
How many people
does it take?
Does it take to worship Kody enough to make him happy?
Because he's got Robyn, he's got Aurora, he's got Brianna, and he's got Saul and Ari. So maybe that's enough.
And maybe Dayton. I would think Dayton.
Yeah, maybe.
Dayton wasn't there, right?
No. We haven't seen Dayton on the show in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is the other thing, too, with Brianna talking about the two of them being soulmates and all that stuff. We're, again, erasing their biological father out of this. It just, you know, there's no acknowledgement of, you have a biological father. But it's almost a little bit like that was bad. That was a divorce. And this marriage is good. It's like.
Well, they did get divorced. So they weren't.
I understand that. But they're still the father of these kids. I know. I just feel like it's.
Well, she did mention him when she was talking about it. The most important decision you'll ever make is who to marry.
Yes.
And she says, you've seen what I went through with. I don't know if she said your father. No, probably not. She probably said my first marriage.
My first divorce or my first divorce.
So
a little Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, you know, we're an hour and 12 minutes in. So the show was 44 minutes. So
as per usual.
Yes. Yes. Well, if you're still here, thank you. We so appreciate you. There are lots of ways to, if you enjoy the podcast, to support us. You can give us, if you haven't already, please give us a 5-star rating and review. You can just do the rating. You can follow us on social media at PsychLegalPop. You can go check out our Patreon. We have a Patreon. You get all the episodes ad-free. You get a monthly Ask Us Anything, a monthly True Crime for our higher tiers, and we do a weekly bonus where we talk more about our personal lives and what's going on and just hot topics and that kind of thing. So go check it out over on Patreon. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe and share it with a friend or two. We really appreciate it. And I think that's it. We'll see you all next time.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.